Good evening, folks. Coming to you again from my wife's basement. You got Angered Unicorn here with the Out of the Park baseball stream. We're going to be looking at the 2021 season for all my teams tonight, doing a quick retrospective on all of them, opening some packs. We're going to take a preview of what the 2022 season is going to look like for some of these guys and hopefully make some upgrades. We're starting out tonight with the Angered Unicorns. Last year, 2021, they had a pretty okay season, finishing in the playoff picture. However, it did not have a good showing in the playoffs. And as we look at what they did last season, you can see here they finished 85 and 77. You can see our lineups. You can see our team leaders. Finished 9th in the league in runs scored, 5th in runs against, 7th in starters ERA, and 5th in bullpen ERA. The bullpen was definitely the strength of this team, led by closer Taylor Gilbo. Andrew Kitteridge and Pedro Baez were the setup guys for them. Vic Derensburg showed up late in the season. I don't think he even got any appearances for them. However, the rest of the bullpen was kind of hit or miss. In the starting rotation, we had Clayton Kershaw, Britt Burns, Max Fried, Silvio Martinez, and Steve Arlen. Not a lot of change from this team going into this season. The lineup looked like Sam Hilliard, Randall Grichuk, Pete Alonso, Gary Sanchez, Chris Bryant, Aristides Aquino, Jose Iglesias, Nicky Lopez, and Mike Pagliarulo. Looking in on their batters, we had kind of a mixed bag going on. So we had some guys that hit home runs. Randall Grichuk with 30. We had Gary Sanchez with 31, but just a measly 236 batting average. Grichuk was not much better at 243. Leading the team in WAR last season was Chris Bryant with 4.1. So not the best offense that you're going to see from some of these teams. We got some defense out of Jose Iglesias. You can see his 2.6 WAR that mostly came from his defense. Then you got Nicky Lopez providing us 1.4 WAR out of the second base slot. Pagliarulo was our starting third baseman and provided negative value, so you can't put money on that, folks. Anybody you can drag your team down every day he's on the field, you got to put him out there. We are packs only, so we just haven't had any luck on this team yet. As far as getting some hitters into the lineup, we did get that diamond Gary Sanchez, but overall not a terribly useful card. Decent defensively, gives us a little bit of value, but not a lot. Diving into the pitching staff, on the other hand, the pitching staff worked out pretty well. So we had Kershaw at 13 and 16, Britt Burns at 11 and 12, and Steve Arlen at 10 and 11 were our wins leaders. And then we had Silvio Martinez at 7 and 14, and Max Fried at 16 and 8 was the biggest reason that we got into the playoffs. His 326 earned run average and 3.7 WAR really helped us out, really put us there to where we just barely snuck into the playoffs, 5 games ahead of the Madison Flyers in the division. We had to win the division. We would have been 3 games out of the wild card and not even really competitive for the playoffs. So we got to play 3 playoff games and, as expected, got swept in those 3 playoff games. So looking over at what the team's ratings looked like last year, here's what they looked like. Gary Sanchez was our only diamond on the offense. Chris Bryant was a diamond as well, both of whom were kind of hit or miss for us. Pete Alonso was okay. Jose Iglesias and Brett was there mostly for his defense, as was Nicky Lopez. I talk all the time about how I like the defense up the middle, and the center fielder, shortstop, second base are my key positions as far as defense. We're going to get to a guy later on tonight who gives us everything we want out of one of those up the middle positions, but that's later on in the show. We had Grichuk out in center field for most of the season. We still have a couple irons on this team with Sam Hilliard and Gary Brown. Neither of who should be on the team for too much longer, hopefully. But again, this team has not had any luck opening packs yet outside of getting some bronzes to throw into this team. You can see the ratings on our defense there. We're not going to do too much with this tonight, though. What I am going to look at real quick is what kind of values that these players have been giving us. So Brett Gardner hasn't played for us, neither has Derensburg or Raisel Iglesias, so that's why you're seeing weird stuff going on with them. But what I looked at for these guys here, so there's 2 things that I look at the end of the season. I look at their WAR that these players are giving us, or wins above replacement, so how much value they're giving to the team on the field. And then more importantly to me as a packs only guy, I really like perfect points. If players can give me perfect points, as you can see some of these guys did, though not a ton, there are guys that I don't mind keeping in the lineup. Like Randall Grichuk is a bronze player, giving me 960 perfect points over 2 seasons. That's not something you can really complain about. So what I do, and then we got Kunal here, who threw an immaculate inning. So the immaculate inning has gone down from 3,000 perfect points to 1,000 perfect points this year. And so it's a little bit less valued, but 1,000 perfect points is a pack. And then I take it all into consideration, and so I look at their total WAR, which is that TWAR at the top, average WAR, what they're giving me every year, and then I weight that value based off of how much the card is valued at. So you can see, for instance, Gary Sanchez, who gave us total WAR of 3.1 and an average WAR of 1.6, has given me a WAR value around 1.2. And then I look at perfect points. He's given us 750 total points, 375 average. These numbers will change a little bit. These are really early preliminary numbers on these guys. But you can see here that Gary Sanchez, at a cost of 5,000 points on the market, is giving us, between his perfect points and his WAR, a value of 2.9. You can see here Nicky Lopez, on the other hand, has less WAR that he's giving us over here. So Nicky Lopez at 1.7 and 1.9, so 3.6 total. Well, actually has given us more over the last 2 years as Sanchez, so maybe a bad example. But you can see his value is 130.4. Why is that? Is because his card cost is way lower. He's a bronze card, cost 70, and put up pretty good numbers. Now, another thing to keep in mind is that this is in Iron League, so as we go up, that Nicky Lopez card is going to go way down in value because he's just not going to be competitive at that point anymore. There is an upper limit to what these cards can give you at lower levels, such as Gary Sanchez, and then there's a definite upper limit to what a Nicky Lopez is going to give you when you get up to the gold, silver, and the diamond brackets there in Perfect Team. Our best value so far has been Sam Hilliard, believe it or not, at 587.3. However, he's an iron card, so it's kind of gross. He has given us some WAR. He gave us 1.2 WAR in 2020, which was good, and I believe he's given us some perfect points. So 460 perfect points out of a 10 perfect point card that you can get on the market for 10 or 11 perfect points. That's pretty cool, getting your money back pretty quick. It's a lot more fun to watch those guys who are hitting, buying that 500,000 perfect point card and having, a Ted Williams or a Cy Young on your team. But sometimes these iron cards can give you some value too, especially if they have some sort of specialization. Sam Hilliard is pretty quick, so he can steal some bases, and then they just run into the ball every now and then on accident and get 3 hits or 2 doubles in a game, and you're already getting your money back on them. Really hard to make your money back on some of the higher ones. Again, doesn't matter to me all that much because I do just open packs on all my teams, so all the players that I get is just pure luck of the draw. But if you're looking at guys to buy on the market, like Aquino at 55, he's not only one of the better values that's been on this team, he's been a pretty good value for me in the bronze tournaments that I've been running too. And you can see my bronze tournament stuff on Wednesday and Thursday. But Aquino is one of those guys that I was very happy to get out of a pack last week, and he has not disappointed me so far. And then let's see, on the pitching side, our best value so far has been Arlen with 92.4, and then we've got Kunal at 145.9. Again, these guys are bronze cards, so they're giving me pretty good value back. Kunal, for instance, has given me back over 1,000 perfect points, but it's a little bit of a fluke because it was that one immaculate inning that got me all those points. So, but paying for themselves is good. And as far as the roster, nothing much is going to change today. We're just going to head back to the game. We're going to go ahead and open our 1 pack with the Unicorns tonight, and then we'll move on to see how the Bruins did last year and what we can expect out of them this year. Actually, I'll go over the Unicorns' new roster here in just a minute. Maybe we'll get really lucky in our pack and get something cool. We might be able to plug into the lineup. It's not going to take much. We did get 4 bronzes, so that's a decent start for this team anyway. Unfortunately, just the 1 pack. So None of them were outfielders that I could see, which bronze outfielders are really what I'm looking for on this team because we are still running Gates Brown and Sam Hilliard out there, neither of who are terribly useful. Brown this year especially bad in 067. This team moved up from the lowest level to iron this year, and so he is they're just not there right now. Looking at the current lineups in depth, so we're still running Grichuk and Gardner out there at 1 and 2. Chris Bryant, Pete Alonso are 3 and 4, and then we got Gary Sanchez, Aristides Aquino, Nicky Lopez, Jose Iglesias, and Sam Hilliard. So leading the team in on-base percentage right now is Alonso. I don't want to move him up because he's the only power in my lineup as well. So he's going to stay at the 3 and 4 slot for pretty much the whole season. Nicky Lopez is number 2 in on-base percentage right now. And with Grichuk and Gardner both kind of middle of the pack, I think I'm going to leave it for now. Well, Grichuk at 250 on-base percentage. Let's actually swap Gardner and get Nicky Lopez up there and see if we can get Nicky Lopez some at-bats this season because he is one of the few effective hitters on this team right now. And then you can see our bench is Shelton, Brown, and Garver. And this team doesn't have a lot to talk about right now. So otherwise, let's see. Alonso leading the team in home runs. Aquino second. Again, as a bronze card, this is a pretty decent card. Okay defense in right field, probably more of a pinch, not a pinch hitter, a designated hitter for that home run power. He's been hitting pretty well in bronze tournaments for what I've seen. Not for this team, but for my Dewey Decimals, who we'll see in just a little bit. Moderate speed, so well-rounded for a 67 rated card. Not great, but you can find them on the auction house. So you can find them pretty cheap. As far as anything else, let's see. We've got stolen bases. We got a couple guys with 2. Nobody lighting the world on fire there. Pete Alonso leading the team in OPS plus. So no surprises there. Going to the pitching staff, hasn't changed other than Vic Derensburg coming up and Raisel Iglesias coming up. We did get a Raisel Iglesias drop over the weekend, so we'll see if he helps. He has not helped my other teams, but so far so good in 5.2 innings, striking out 11 per 9 with a 159 earned run average. Already 2 saves for him as Taylor Gilbo gets tired every now and then, so we got to throw Iglesias in there. And in the middle relief, Fernando Romero not pitching well. Everybody else moderate to effective. Vic Derensburg's been good in his first season with the Unicorns. 270 earned run average. No home runs allowed so far. That whip's a little bit concerning. It's pretty high for a relief pitcher. This is a card I like at 68. He's a guy I might look at in bronze tournaments. I haven't seen too much of him with the data I've been running, but he's got good stuff, good movement control, and three pretty good pitches for a bullpen arm. So he might be a guy you can run out there in bronze cap tournaments and especially in lower out of the park perfect team leagues. 9.4 strikeouts per 9, lots of walks though, not showing great control. Hopefully he can bring that walks per 9 down. If he'd bring that down, that whip would come down and everything else would be a little bit better as well. Let's see, Max Fried leading our staff with a nice 933 earned run average, which is no good. Clayton Kershaw's having a bounce back year. Did not have a great year last year at 13 and 16 with a 434 earned run average in 37 games. He was our number 1 pitcher last year. We moved him down to number 3 just because the other guys were pitching so much better than him, but it's probably time to start thinking about moving him back up to that ace position, especially with Max Fried not pitching very well. We'll move Silvio Martinez down to number 5, kind of as expected. Although Steve Arlen, they'll bounce back and forth all season depending on who's doing well and who's not. I'm not liking the looks of this Max Fried card right now. Let's let Bert Burns take over at number 1. Is Kershaw going to be ready? Kershaw will not be ready tomorrow, but I always start highest rested in a regular offline league. I would not do that because you got injuries and stuff to take into consideration, but for the sake of perfect team with no injuries, I want my best pitchers pitching as much as possible. So that's why we go with that. So that's pretty much it for the Unicorns. Let's go ahead and head out of here and check in on Bergeron's Bruins and see what they got going on. So the Bruins did not have a good season last year. We will have a pack with them, so that's good. Let's see, the Bruins last year, they went 79-83, missed the playoffs, missed the division by 17 games, and were out of the wild card by 6. As far as their team leaders, Walker Buehler was their ace with a .505 earned run average. Brent Suter is a card that I am dying to get on the decimals because he is crushing bronze tournaments. So if you're running bronze tournaments, that's a card that you really want. Randy Wolf's been pretty much okay. As far as the bullpen, they were hit or miss just like the other team. Joe Kelly stunk, whereas Denny's Baez was pretty good, whereas Scott Alexander was mediocre, and our closer, Roberto Osuna, 34 saves, but a .326 ERA is nothing to write home about out of your closer, especially from a gold card in the Iron League. On the lineup side of things, Gavin Lux led off and was pretty effective with 19 home runs and a .300 batting average. We'll bring up the batting stats here for you so we can see .359 on base percentage, so not superstar level, but good enough for this league. We then had Gabe Kapler, Wilmer Flores, Gio Urshela. Again, nobody super special on this team to really pay too much attention to from last year. The pitching leaders were, again, Buehler with 205 innings, 198 strikeouts. Brent Suter with 14 wins was the team leader and an ERA at 3.66. Looking at their team values, so let's go ahead and bring them up. So looking at the Bruins values, we had our offensive leader was Gabe Kapler at 122 total value. We got 5 total WAR out of him the last 2 seasons for a 2.5 average, which at cost of 100 gave us a 100 WAR value. For perfect points, though, this is what we're looking at here. Walker Buehler's been crushing it on perfect points for us. So he's almost got back what he's worth on the auction house in 2 seasons. This is a guy who I expect this value to go down just a little bit because the gold pitchers tend to deflate in value as the season goes along because you're just not going to get them for as long. But he's going to be worth his money. Not worth selling for me right now as he's bringing in more than I would get from selling him. And there's nobody else in this team that's generating a ton of perfect points. Asuna's up there. I think Asuna's big value perfect point was he had a pretty long save streak for us. On the offensive side, we're getting the most perfect points out of Gio Urshela right now on an average of 220 a season. And then Gavin Lux, from that leadoff position, he had a bunch of leadoff home runs in 2020. Not so much in 2021. It was a little bit less, but he's providing us pretty good value as well. A little bit more expensive than that Gabe Kapler card, which is why you see his value being a little bit lower. But for a silver card, Gavin Lux at 23.3 value is not too bad. And then you got Wilmer Flores at first base. Really cheap card, providing decent WAR and providing some perfect points. Already worth triple his value. So we're getting our money's worth from him as well. And then there's, of course, that Brent Suter card that is just cleaning up everywhere. The iron levels, I suspect once we get up to, well, if this team ever gets up to silver, gold, or diamond level play, he's not going to be nearly as effective. But at the lower levels, Brent Suter has been kicking ass at every instance I've seen him taken. So our roster this year for the Bruins looks something like this. They're having a really, really bad season right now. They did move up to bronze somehow. They were in the top half of the Iron League and moved up to bronze, and they were clearly not ready for that. It's been a really rough start. 3-15 is not good. Probably the worst I've ever seen one of my teams do. Definitely not ready to come up. This is the first time I've seen Brent Suter struggle as well. Leading the team right now in batting average is Gio Urshela at 278. Tony Kemp at 273 and Gabe Kapler in third at 253. Kind of sad. Earl Batty leading the team in home runs and Tyler O'Neill with 12 RBIs through 18 games. So at least we got some guys driving in runs, even if we're pretty much last in the league in runs scored and every other category. We do have some stolen bases, so Tony Kemp's got 4, Kapler's got 3, and Lux is up there with 3. On the pitching side, it's not a lot better. Not that it could be worse. The starters are pitching pretty well. Getting a good season from Walker Buehler. Hopefully Brent Sutter starts pitching well again soon. And then Randy Wolf there with his 354 earned run average is holding his own, though none of them have any wins yet. The only wins so far are coming out of our bullpen with Roberto Osuna with 2 of them and Michael Gibbons with the other one. I'm curious how he's getting his wins. So his wins are not coming off of blown saves, so I guess that's good. He's not blowing saves and then stealing wins from people. But Osuna's not pitching particularly well either. Current lineup looks like the same as last year, so no changes really in this lineup. Just haven't gotten any cards that I've been able to plug in. I'm looking for outfielders and middle infielders here, specifically shortstop, where Dal Maxfield is still my shortstop. I'm keeping him for now because his defense is awesome, but I need somebody who can provide me some semblance of defense and a bat as well, as 213, 224, all of his WAR is coming out of defense. Just 111 and 118 hits in over 150 games the last 2 years, and that's just not going to cut it. And this team is probably going to get relegated back to iron if I had to guess. Let's go ahead and get our 1 pack with them and open it and see if we get any surprises. Yoshihisa Hirano is a good bullpen card. I don't think we're going to be able to fit him in right now because that's not what we're here for tonight. We're going to check the teams quick, and then I really want to get to the 100 packs we're going to be opening with the decimals. So let's see if Hirano is worth getting in here. We did get a gold catcher. I don't know where he came from, but that was not just now. Hirano. Let's go ahead and dump one of these guys. Probably Joe Kelly. I don't like what I've seen out of Joe Kelly. And Hirano's been pretty good from what I've seen in tournament play. So we're going to go ahead and bring him over, and then we'll just submit that team, and we'll move on to the decimals. Helps if you spell your username correctly. So the decimals have 100 packs to open. Before we do that, we're going to go ahead and get into their current roster or their roster from last year and give a good retrospective on this team, because this is the team that we had some fun with. We did get a good drop we started with a 270,000 perfect point Huey Jennings card, and then we got a Mike Schmidt. We left Mike Schmidt in the lineup for a little bit and then sold him. So this team's got some players that we can talk about. A little bit more fun. They did not win their division in the rookie league last year because the Jerktown Hambusters came on like mad in the second half of the season. We ended up losing the division by 9, but we're first in the wild card by 11.5 over the second wild card. Jim Bottomley has been one of the best cards that I've seen on any of my teams so far this year, putting up a 6.5 WAR as a designated hitter. Folks, he played some first base for us, but most of it was as a designated hitter, especially after we got Miguel Sano to drop. And so that's a really good offensive card. Again, no defense to speak of on him, so he is kind of a DH. But he puts up some crazy, crazy batting numbers. Almost got the team triple crown for us. On the pitching side, as you can see, way better than our other teams. We had DeGrom as our ace, went 15-10 with a 315 earned run average. Juan Guzman went 21-6 with a 292, won the ERA crown, tied for the most wins in the season. DeGrom was number 1 in strikeouts. Guzman was number 2. Strasburg was number 3 in strikeouts in the league. So our pitching staff was A-OK. Second in starter ERA, second in bullpen ERA, first in fielding independent pitching, and first in pitching WAR and strikeouts. You're going to be first in strikeouts if your 3 starters are 1, 2, and 3 in the league. They just kind of overmatched the league. Made it to the playoffs and got knocked out in the first round, unfortunately, by the Jerktown Hambusters, but Overall, it was a pretty successful season for these guys. Wanted to make some upgrades in the bullpen. I'd like to make some upgrades in the lineup. You can see we've already added Elmer Flick this weekend. We got one more big one to talk about once we get back to the game, but we'll go ahead and take a look at their batting leaders from last year here real quick. So Dick Grote played shortstop, led off for most of the season, was the only player on the team with 200 hits, with more than 200 hits. 71 of them are doubles, which is kind of silly. That's a lot of doubles out of your number one slot, and it's going to help you score a lot of runs. He did have 3 stolen bases. There's not a lot of speed on this team, I won't lie. And with Mike Schmidt getting sold, there's even less now. So we don't run very much, but they've got some bats, and they've added some bats. I think they're going to have a pretty good season this year. Grote had a 5.1 WAR. Bottomley with a 6.5. We already talked about him a little bit. Schmidt had a 4.3, but is not on the team anymore. We did sell him on like Thursday or Friday, so he put up some pretty good numbers. Came on as the season went on. It went up. It started off really bad the first 2 days on Monday and Tuesday. Came around on Wednesday and Thursday, but we needed to do something to upgrade the team, and so we sold them. We opened some packs on Friday and came up with some pretty decent upgrades, I think. We ended up with Marcell Ozuna in the lineup. We ended up with Mickey Rivers in center field. We got Miguel Sano at first base. We were able to move JD Martinez and his bat that's going down back to the bench and move Bottomley to the designated hitter position. So added some power with Sano. Moved some things around and added some speed with Ozuna, which was really useful for this team. And he's proven to be pretty good. And he proved to be pretty good on Friday and Saturday with the playoff push for this team. So we're pretty happy with that. We also nabbed Trey Turner, who we were able to plug into the lineup at shortstop. Pretty good defensively. He was playing backup at second base and shortstop for us because we had left Corey Seager in at shortstop. There's been some changes in this team since Saturday, though, so we'll be able to go over those in a minute. As far as the pitching staff, we talked about most of it. Taylor Rogers did have 35 saves. He's another guy who got us a lot of perfect points with a huge save. He had like a 29-game save streak at one point during the season. Got us some perfect points there, and was pretty fun to watch as the season went along. The bullpen was okay, some 3s and 4s ERAs, so Rogers was really the only lights-out guy in the bullpen, though Ryan Presley and Dave Veras and Kenley Jansen were pretty good too. Limited action for them other than Kenley Jansen. I like the Kenley Jansen card this year. I did not like it as much last year, but so far he's been pretty good. 1, 2, and 3 pitchers were Guzman, DeGrom, and Strasburg, and they did not disappoint, and they're not disappointing now either. So checking out their values as we look at them. So our best valued player on this team was Carraway, our number 4 pitcher. And the big one for him is look at these perfect points I got out of my pitchers, guys. Not quite paying for themselves. It'll take a while because DeGrom's a perfect, looking at about 25,000 perfect points. But for now, he's generating packs for me, as is Guzman. The Guzman card is sitting at about 15,000 right now. For a 93 rated card, that's a lot of perfect points. So if you have him and you don't want to use him, feel free to put him on the market. Somebody's probably going to buy him. Closing out the pitching, my bullpen didn't generate a lot of points other than Rogers, who got me 430 points. That was his first season with the team, so it's the only season he's played with them. Jim Bottomley with 1,745 perfect points for us so far, averaging almost 900 a season. So again, another guy probably pay for himself over time. I'm not taking his bat out of the lineup right now, even though I could sell it for 15,000 and open a bunch of packs. We just don't need that right now. And then Trey Turner has been and Mark Canha have been our 2 best values from an offensive standpoint, both at 6.7 overall value. Not going to talk too much about how I come up with those numbers, but we'll go and look at this year's team and get an idea of what we're looking at from them. It has been a fun start to this season for them. We put up a 31 spot on one team. We just put up a 15 spot on the H-Town pie charts as we've been crushing them. And I almost feel a little bad because of the changes we made to this team in the last couple days. But the Decimals started off 0-2. Somehow lost their first 2 games of the season and now are 17-3. So that'll tell you how good they've been playing lately as they get ready to go into this next simulation. Apologies for that. We have been putting up perfect points against everybody. We had a 14-game winning streak at one point. We had this 31-6 thrashing of the Hamilton Dunzetos, where we put up 4,600 perfect points in one game. So anytime you can get 5 packs out of one game, I'm going to be pretty okay with that. Heading over to the home screen, we are number 5 in runs against, so the pitching staff's dropped off just a little bit. 3rd in starter and 3rd in bullpen ERA and 3rd in FIP, as well as pitching WAR. Lots of errors so far, so already 11 errors in 20 games for this team. On the other side, 2nd in runs scored, 2nd in batting average, 1st in OPS, 1st in batting WAR, 1st in home runs. We'll go ahead and download the new data file and see how Juan Guzman did today. We go 10-1, and the guy we're about to talk about is a big reason why. Juan Guzman, with another win, already 4-1 in the season with a 2.87 earned run average. Strasburg will pitch our next game. Currently 3-1 with a 2.10 ERA. Pat Carraway, who was our big perfect points winner last season, at 2-0 with a 4.50. Hopefully he'll bring that down a little bit. And then Shane Bieber, who got plugged into the lineup over the weekend, one of the very few. We opened 120 packs on Friday, and we got very, very few diamonds out of it. It was a little bit disappointing for most of the night, but we did get a Shane Bieber out of it, and we got, who else did we get? We got Gallegos out of it as well, so Gallegos got plugged in on Friday. Not pitching well so far, but just 4 appearances, so hopefully he'll turn that around. On the offensive side, Dick Grote continues to lead off for us. Just a 250 batting average, but a 330 on-base percentage. So lots of walks out there, and I can live with that. Elmer Flick's taken over in right field from Shane Spencer and has not looked back. 350 batting average right now with 4 home runs, leading the team out of the number 2 slot. We're going to come back to that guy in just a minute. Jim Bottomley continues to be an outstanding offensive force for us with 11 home runs, a 378 batting average, 465 on base, and 841 slugging. Again, not a good defensive card, so you probably don't want him playing defense for you, but his offensive numbers are off the charts and pretty ludicrous. Gabby Hartnett catching for us a little bit better this year than last year. Batted just 228 last year, but so far this year batting 308 with 6 home runs. A little bit more protection in the lineup for him maybe, and he's been able to hit just a little bit better. George Springer crushing it this season after an off year last year. Did have 23 home runs, but just a 251 batting average. So far this year at 364 and already 3 home runs through Monday, on pace for 23 home runs again and 123 RBIs though, so this team has added some offense over the weekend. Rizzo batting 321, lots of good batting averages here. Matt Chapman's finally coming through for us, batting 308 and showing some, not a lot of pop, but getting some doubles. Already 3 doubles on the season, looking at may get 23 positive WAR, so that's a good sign out of Matt Chapman after struggling for most of last year. And then the only silver we have left in our lineup is Mark Canha, who has dropped to 222, was 221 with 17 home runs last year, so we'll be looking to upgrade the left field position tonight when we open these packs. But the guy I want to talk about was the big money guy from Friday, Nap LaJoy, and this card is legitimately awesome. I did attempt to sell him. I hate to say, I put him up on the auction house for 700,000 perfect points. Nobody bit. I put him back up for 600,000 points, even though I said I would not. Nobody bit, so somebody actually undersold the 500,000 he was selling for. He had dropped to 475 last 7 at one point. Right now he's sitting at 475 over the last 7 still. So I'm not going to sell him for 500,000. I'm going to watch this guy and I'm going to enjoy it, and he's going to get me some perfect points. And so far, he has been totally worth it. Already 12 doubles, on pace for 93 this season. There's no way that's going to hold up. Already 4 triples, on pace for 31. Again, no freaking way he ends up with 31 triples this season. On pace for a WAR of 22.9, folks. If you have Nap Lajoie in a steel season, that's what it's called, right? It's Stone season. If you can somehow get Nap Lajoie onto your team in Stone League, just do it, because this card is nuts. So talk about the stats. Just look at these ratings. Contact 113, gap power 118, home run power just a measly 94. Iron discipline mediocre at 57, and avoid Ks is just above average at 59. But he adds with it a dimension of speed and stealing. Great base stealer, outstanding base runner. 63 speed, but that stealing and base running is pretty legit. And then you get the really, really important part to me. He plays second base. He plays up the middle. He has 97 range, 100 error, 89 arm, 92 turn double play, and a 118 rating at second base. This is the second baseman you want. This has got to be the best second baseman in the game. We had gone through 85 packs the other night without even a diamond. Got a bunch of golds, didn't even have a diamond yet. And then we opened this 100 Nap Lajoie, and it made the whole night worth it. So that's the teams. That's what we're looking at this year. So it looks like the Decimals have a good shot at running away with their division, mostly on the bats of Nap Lajoie and Jim Bottomley, but also on the pitching. So we're going to open another 100 packs tonight and see if we can upgrade them a little bit more. And as we do that, we may take a look at some players who we open up. We'll see what happens. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and get to our packs. Pack number 1. We'll open eventually. Getting some historical cards in the first pack with a Willie Upshaw, Oliver Drake, silver reliever. So some of the bronze cards I'm looking for tonight are that Brent Suter that we already talked about. I'm looking for Gerald Williams. I'd like to plug him in at right field for my tournaments. I'm looking for, oh, here comes our first gold. It's David Price. We'll have to check the ratings on him when we get done and see if we can put him into our rotation. There's Steve Lyons, who's kind of a dink. See, what are the other guys I'm looking for? I'm also looking for a Vic Aldridge starting pitcher. Would be a great card for us to get tonight. He's another bronze. I try to compete in the bronze tournaments right now. Ozzie Smith at shortstop would be a great card. Maury Rath or Kaz Matsui at second base are the other two cards that I'm really, really looking for and trying to get and hoping to get. We got a couple Johnny Cueto's. Johnny Cueto's been okay in the bronze tournaments. Not in my rotation right now. I think there's some guys who have been better, but we'll see. He's been a little bit up and down, but he gives you some value there if you're trying to run those tournaments. Another quiet pack there, so 5 packs in, and just the 1 gold David Price so far. Welcome, Low Bat. Welcome. I'm glad you got to the final 8. So it's a start. So it's definitely kind of a crapshoot sometimes there in the bronze tournaments. Who are you running out there in your rotation? I saw you with watching Capcom yesterday. I have found that the hitting can go really cold really fast in those bronze tournaments for me. I still don't have where OSA gives you ranking of the player. I don't know that I've actually looked at those, so I will keep that in mind. I'm going to make a note of that and take a look at the team position rankings here after we're done tonight, and I'll try to get back with you on that because I haven't actually looked at those. So George Springer, we'll be able to sell him for another pack or two. He's a gold card that's been pretty useful for me here at the lower levels. I don't think it's a card that's going to compete at the higher levels, though. Well, hopefully that means I'm doing a good job then. There's another gold. So we already got 3 golds. Jeter Downs, the guy that the Red Sox traded my man Mookie Betts for. So that's a little bit, I don't know what to think about that. I like to think Jeter Downs is going to be a great player, but Mookie Betts is awesome. Another gold coming through. Here's a right fielder, Jeff McNeil. We are looking to upgrade some of our outfield a little bit. McNeil doesn't provide great defense. Yeah, usually when you're looking at the OSA ratings, whether it's online or offline, it's relative to your current league. So 4 goals in the first 10 packs or so, though, so hopefully it'll be a good night. Hopefully that's a good sign of things to come. That Steven Duggar is a card that you can run out there in iron tournaments, and it's not bad. It'll give you some value down there. I haven't delved into the iron tournaments too much yet. That's kind of my project for next week. Mike Fierce, the whistleblower. I don't know that that's what I'd call him, but he definitely turned the tables on the Houston Astros, that's for sure. Looks real happy in that picture. Toronto, we saw him in one of the packs on our other teams tonight. Nico Goodrum's a guy that 2 or 3 years ago I thought was going to turn into a pretty spectacular player. He's got a lot of tools. He's a toolsy guy, plays some good defense, steals some bases. I thought he was going to be like a 20 doubles, 20 stolen bases kind of guy. He just hasn't really developed into that. And obviously this year he's probably not going to be that good because who knows when they're going to play. Here comes another gold, Mike Clevenger. Pretty good starter for the Indians. Lots of gold so far, but nothing super interesting. So everybody else is picking Ozzy too. I'm not. It's interesting because he doesn't provide a ton of offensive value. So what I was seeing with that Ozzy Smith is that his defensive ratings are just skewing everything on him. And if you're ignoring the defensive ratings, I can absolutely see Uribe being higher than him because Uribe provides you a ton more offense, but he's not good defensively. And so if you're looking for, especially if you're running a lot of ground ball pitchers out there, then Ozzie Smith's going to be your guy. If you're looking to put a rotation and a bullpen together with either ground ball or extreme ground ball pitchers, Ozzie Smith's going to provide you a lot of value. I mean, you're talking it's a 35-game tournament tops. So if they play 7 games in every round, it's 35 games. And I've seen just dumb zone ratings out of him at like 6, 7, 8 over 35 games, which equates to like a 60-something zone rating over a 162-game season, which is crazy. What's up, Cavicom? Welcome. Nothing super interesting so far, just a bunch of golds through our first 20 packs. I think 7 golds, so better start than Friday night. Let's hope it has a finish that's just as good. Sonny Gray, we just pulled Sonny Gray out there. Haven't gotten any of the bronze players I'm looking for yet either. I really want that Gerald Williams in right field. And I still really want that Brent Suter. We got 75 or so left. We're doing 100 tonight. I got 50,000 perfect points I'm leaving in the bank for Wednesday. We're going to see how that goes. Unless something weird happens, like we don't see any diamonds in the first 100, and then I'm going to assume that the last 50 are going to give us something nuts. And maybe we'll open them tonight, but that is not the plan as of right now. How'd your playoffs go yesterday, Cavicom? I've been seeing this George Moriarty card from 1909, and it's always been interesting to me. And so I want to look him up. 1909 George Moriarty. Let's see, he played 133 games that year for the Detroit Tigers, 522 plate appearances. He had just 129 hits for a 273 batting average. Interesting card. Later on in his career, he got some MVP votes in 1912 specifically when he batted 248 with 9 caught stealings and 30 stolen bases. So he was a base stealer, speedy guy. 34 stolen bases in 1909, which was his career high. 34 again in 1914, where he got those MVP votes. Finished 27th in the MVP voting that year. Overall, played 13 years for the Yankees and the Tigers. 147 doubles in his career, so short, not a super interesting career, but some interesting numbers on there. It's interesting looking back at the random years on Baseball Reference where they have caught stealing data from, such as 1912 and 1914, when he got caught 15 times and stole 34 bases, but they don't have the caught stealing data for any of the other days out there. Ethan Allen, I don't think that's a card that I've seen. I'm not sure if that's even one that I've seen in the bronze tournaments, because I do not recognize that name. Ethan Allen, 1934. Let's see. Tom Murphy's a pretty okay catcher. Didn't make my top 5 list for the bronze tournaments, but was probably the first or second cutoff. See, 1935, Ethan Allen. In 1934, 42, 46 doubles those 2 years. Hit some home runs, stole a couple bases, finished 17th in the MVP voting in 1935. Did Ethan Allen. Batted 330 and 307 respectively in 1934 and 35. Those were his best 2 years. Played another guy who played 13 years. Yeah, you got these 20s and 30s that just don't have caught stealing data. So it's weird. Here's our first diamond, Roy Oswalt, 2001 rookie sensation. That might be a card that I can plug into the rotation. Oh, no finals appearances, huh? Both of my teams that made the playoffs got swept, and I don't know if you were here before, but the Bruins got moved up to the bronze level, and they're currently 2-18, so they were not ready to move up to the bronze level. Looking forward to them playing in the iron level again next season. I have not got any good polls on either the Unicorns or the Bruins so far, so the Decimals remain my main team. Knapp did not get sold either, and he's killing it right now. And some more quiet packs here. Not really getting anything interesting even in the bronze tournaments at the moment. So far, just the one Roy Oswalt 90 rated card, and then a bunch of live golds that I'm not super interested in, but I'll keep in case any interesting collections come down the line. A couple duplicate golds as well. Still looking for my bronze players. Still, I haven't gotten a single one so far tonight. I'm looking for Gerald Williams in right field. I'm looking for Brent Suter and Vic Aldridge at starting pitcher. I'm looking for Ozzie Smith at shortstop. I'm looking for Maury Rath or Kaz Matsui at second base. Those are the cards that I'm looking for, and I'm just not having any luck pulling any of them right now. Trying to close out my bronze tournament team and see if we can get some more wins. There's Jose Iglesias, one of the 5 top rated shortstops in my bronze tournaments. However, he's really easy to find, so not terribly exciting there. He does back up all of my infield positions right now. Ryan McBroom, which is what all of my perfect teams did in the first round of the playoffs yesterday, is get swept. (1959) Mike Fornieles. Let's look him up. Mike Fornieles. You guys know I like my historical Red Sox, and when one of them pops up that I don't know, interesting to me. Let's see. He played for Boston from 57 to 62. 1959, he had 26 games finished, 11 saves. Let's see, anything, 327. 1960 was a better year for him, so the snapshot's kind of weird. But 1960, he pitched 70 games for the Red Sox with 13 saves. Not a lot of saves back then, so that was pretty high. Had a 358 earned run average that year and got MVP votes as a closer for the 1960 Boston Red Sox, a team that went 65 and 89. So at least we know that 60 years ago, MVP voters were just as bad and weird and random voting as they are now. There's the Juan Uribe. Juan Uribe is a pretty good shortstop for bronze tournaments. I think I've got him at number 2 or 3 right now. Can play some third base as well. The ratings like him, but it's mostly because of his offense. Ozzie Smith is still definitely, I think, the number 1 shortstop. Here comes another gold, another Kenley Jansen. Been decent at the lower levels. None of my teams are ready for bronze yet. All right, halfway done with the packs so far. Just Roy Oswalt. This is Victor Caratini. 80 rated catcher. Another duplicate for us. Lots of bronzes that aren't going to help my team out at all. Tim Bogar and Ryan Stanek are two bronze cards that have performed. Uh, Bogar, I haven't seen a lot of so far in the bronze tournaments, but what I've seen has been pretty decent. I wasn't ready to put him in the top 5 yet. I wanted to see a little bit more out of him, but he wasn't putting up a lot of really bad performances. And he was putting up some good performances too. So might be a guy to look at if you're hard up on infielders. Ryan Braun 2 years ago was at least a diamond. Correct me if I'm wrong, Cavicom. He might have been a perfect 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. He is a guy that got old really, really fast. You can do worse than Jose Martinez in a Braun tournament at first base. You can do better too, but you can definitely do worse. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was a diamond in 19. Coming up on 40 packs left. Still just Roy Oswalt. It's just the game's just waiting to give me something good. I don't think packs are torture. So I'm probably a special case though. I enjoy it. I'm pretty patient and I'm pretty easily entertained, and I get to tell my wife, "Hey, I'm going to stream a pack opening," and I get some quiet time for an hour. Um, and she supports me. She's pretty cool. And you know, if I complain about not having coffee right now, she'd go get me one like she did on Friday night. But I don't need one tonight, so I think we're good because I want to sleep tonight at some point. But I enjoy it just for, you know, a lot of people run packs and they do it without the animations too, and so it just pops up, hey, you got these 6 guys in your pack. And to me, the feeling when, you know, the back pops up and you see like the golds aren't super special anymore, but when that diamond or that, especially when that 100 back pops up, it's a pretty awesome rush. I'm a collector of things too. I'm not very good at a lot of things, but I collect a lot of things. I used to collect, for instance, Magic cards. I have a lot of Magic cards. Here's a diamond. Bryce Harper, possibly a new right fielder for our team. So there's 2 diamonds there. You got Roy Oswalt and Bryce Harper. So I have a lot of Magic cards, but I collected them. I never played very well. So it's kind of one of my things. I like opening stuff like Diablo. Like I like random stuff too. So like I love playing Diablo. And Cavicom, thanks again. I'm gonna try to copy that to my desktop. I didn't make it last time, so not my best. Oh, maybe I did copy it to my desktop. I don't think it was my best reaction. We got last year was I got a Kurt Schilling last year, which I was pretty happy about, and then Ted Williams, the 100 Ted Williams was the one that really got me. That was fun. I don't know how I'd react if I ever opened my dream 100 Pedro. It would probably be a mess. Yes, you did always beat me in Magic. And back to the bronzes, but I don't know. I think we got two pretty decent diamonds so far tonight. I'd love to get another one. I'll be honest. I really just want these tournament cards. I really, really just want one of them. Like even one of them would be nice. You wouldn't think it would be this hard to find a Brent Suter or a Gerald Williams. Last 30 packs. No, I do. So all my teams are packs. I just do packs. I just do free to play. The only reason I spend so much time on this team right now is because they're the only ones who've opened 100, or well, 3 at this point. And the first one they got was a Huey Jennings, which I sold for 270. And then, so it's all just hoping for players. I watch the tournaments, I download the data for the tournaments and everything, and so that's where I get all my tournament data from. But it's not actual cards that I have that I go out and buy. So I like I said, I like opening packs because I'm a nerd, and I enjoy seeing the backs of the bronzes, and I can be like, oh, maybe it'll be Gerald Williams this time, but it never is. Nice. Suitors pretty awesome so far from what I've seen. He's been competitive even in Suter's been competitive even in the Iron main part out of the Park League. Uh, so not as good so far up in bronze. He's on my team that accidentally ended up in bronze, and he hasn't been as good up there. So I don't think he's going to compete very good at high levels, but which obviously because he's a 68, 69 rated card, but down at the bronze level, he's crushing it. And I just can't get him on this team. Nothing. I'm pretty sure the game actually hates me. Maybe if I buy historic, but they're like 10,000 a piece or something silly. That doesn't sound cost effective. Also, he's a live card. John Dobson was a guy I used to like back in the early 90s for some reason. Last 20 packs. If those are the only two diamonds we get, I think I'm just going to have to crack the last 50 packs. I mean, we're looking at almost 600 packs with this team at this point, and not get a live Brent Suter is killing me. Ricky Toussaint was a gold last year, I think. He must have had a bad season. Has he always been an iron? Oh, I don't know which Braves pitcher it was. I thought that was a gold. I'm not sure about the Smokey Burgess. Keston Hura, I threw out there at second base for a little bit. Uh, did not impress all that much. Speedy guy, got some good speed, but Knapp is a little bit better than him. Tad, tad bit better. Another gold. Let's see, 2014 Chris Sale. That could be a nice card. We'll have to check that one out here in a couple minutes. I'm a big fan of Fulte, Mike Fultonewicz on the Braves. I sure can pick up a lot of Max Stassi cards. I left my Dynasty Fantasy League this year because life just got too busy. But I've had Fulte on that team for 5 years now, I think. Because we had our 25 player. It was 20 teams in the league, 25 players per active roster, and then we had a 30-man minor league roster. And so Fulte was on there. I had a whole bunch of guys. I used to have two golds in a row, a Shohei Ohtani and a Carlos Cheater Correa. So I had Rice Hoskins on there before he got called up. I had Matt Thaiss was on there at one point. Um, it was fun. Back then I had a little bit more time on my hands. And so tracking all the minor leaguers, and we did minor league drafts every year. We drafted the new MLB draftees. It was a really fun league, but took up a lot of time. It was daily 6x6 versus. It was nuts. I don't know how I survived in it that long. I made it to the finals one year. I will say, I think the National League East race this year is one of the biggest reasons I'm missing the baseball season. I think the race in the National League East was going to be awesome. Between the Nationals, the Braves, I think the Phillies were going to be pretty good this year. Not sure about the Mets and the Marlins were going to stink, but that three-team race between the Braves, the Nationals, and the Phillies, I think was going to be awesome. Also, we're missing a year of Mike Trout, which losing out on watching the guy who's probably going to end up the best player in baseball history. You can argue with me on that if you want. It may not end up happening, but he's on pace for something special. And losing a year of that makes me really sad. So Bryce Harper is a pretty good right fielder. We've got Elmer Flick out there right now. I think we can probably dump one of these infielders, though. Maybe Anthony Rizzo, because I've got check my lineup real quick. Rizzo's playing first for us, so I probably don't want to dump him. I can probably drop Longoria at this point, or Turner. Actually, I think Trey Turner is the guy to drop, because I want to get Bryce Harper into the lineup. So sorry, Trey Turner, you're gonna have to rest for a couple weeks. And see, so we got this Roy Oswalt and Sale. Caraway's at 76, not having a great year. 76, 65, 69. Either one of these guys looks better than him. Oswalt with an 80. I think we're going to put Oswalt in for Caraway and see what Oswalt does. And then Soroka, live Soroka is at 89 now. Guy that's probably was going to... Yeah, no, I agree. Losing Williams and DiMaggio was a bigger deal than what's going on right now, for sure. But I wasn't alive then, so I was not able to be sad about it. So I think I'm going to bring Sale up and drop, well, no, Jansen's been lights out. So I'm going to hold off on bringing Sale up for now. I'm just going to put Oswalt into the rotation right below Strasburg. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to get Bryce Harper in at, I guess I could... He's got to be our right fielder, right? Flick's playing so well, though. Plays right field, center field. What do you think? Can Bryce Harper play left? No, I'm not that old, Cavicom. Pretty close. Springer play any left field? Not really. Yeah, we're gonna find out if Bryce Harper can play any left field. And he's going to move up to, we'll call it fifth. And then Canna can do whatever. I should have dumped Canna. I forgot he was there. So Ozuna, Longoria, Canna. Ozuna is the only guy with any speed whatsoever. So we're just going to copy that. That was not the best pack opening. I think I'm going to go ahead and open the rest of these packs, guys. I wanted to save them. I wanted to save them for Wednesday when I'm going to look at the bronze tournaments again, but we're just going to open them now. And we're going to get something good. We're going to see that black and gold back again. Jesse Winker was a guy that was in my minor league system of that fantasy league too. Austin Hayes, decent center fielder in bronze tournaments. Bless you. You gonna get the reverse sweep? Are you in a tournament right now? I'm actually not in any at the moment. Craig Biggio is a good catcher card. Not bad there in those bronze tournaments. Gotcha. Yeah, I didn't get into the Monday Super Bronze. Nice, congratulations. What round is that one in? Round 3 prizes for you. Here's a diamond. Anthony Rendon. Maybe an infielder we can plug into the lineup. Yeah, those tournaments will knock your bullpen on their butts fast. especially if you have long games. I had a game 6 that went to 16 innings before a game 7. I didn't have a single dude in my bullpen that wasn't red or yellow. I use Pete Vukovich as a long relief pitcher occasionally in my bronze tournaments, and use Miro Petit has been one of the better relievers in the bronze tournaments. So those are two pretty decent cards there. 2 more rounds. How many people are in that? Is that a 128? That's what I figured. Yeah, 14 and 12 might be the way to go. I haven't settled on that yet because there's a lot of fatigue in the hitters too as well. They fatigue, so the fatigue is actually increased in the tournaments from what I understand. So I see a lot of my hitters getting fatigued too. What I need is for my team to start winning in 4 games instead of 6 or 7. Yeah, that's what I like about Iglesias. Yeah, Ian Happ's a good card. He's a guy that you can use in a lot of places, and he's put up good numbers. I'll be honest, I'm not seeing him used as much as I expect. But I like having Iglesias to play all of my infield positions down there. Beals Becker, 1914. 1914. What is this? A snapshot. Played for Philadelphia that year. Center field, left field, all the outfield positions. 167 hits, 325 batting average. Let's see, 37 walks, 59. That's 59 is a lot of strikeouts for 1914 for a batter. 25 doubles that year. His best year, I don't know. He played 8 years. Beals Becker did. 45 home runs, 114 doubles. Stole 129 bases. Interesting card. Some of the random guys that come up out of these are kind of cool. Oh, that hurts. Hopefully you'll find some way to come through. Need that one day off. Is it Sundays that they give tournaments the day off? Man, if I don't get one of these bronze guys I want tonight, I might have to sell Nap LaJoy and open up 400 more packs. They don't have off days at all. I thought I saw they did. They had one, but I was probably wrong. Oh, that's gross. Yeah, that's going to be a rough round for you. Maybe you can get a couple complete games out of your starters. Yeah, I think there's a hidden stat in there somewhere, and then it's accelerated for the tournaments. Coming up on the last 20 packs, we need another good card here. Something good, anything good. It would be fun to manage them live, but that I just feel like it would be a logistical nightmare for them and for the thousands of people trying to get into the tournament. So I totally get why that's not something that's an option. I can get 100 Danny Mendick cards. I cannot get anything I want though. Yeah, the pitch count tool is okay. It's better than nothing, but so usually like if they hit 110 pitches and then have a long at bat or something, or there are definitely calculations in there that are inconsistent. But I've been playing the game since 2006, and it gets better every single year. And Perfect Team has gotten better and more in depth. All 3 years they've done it. This was such a huge addition 2 years ago, and they worked really hard to get the tournaments out the door last year. And I think it's a really awesome addition to the game that's gotten me back into it because I bought it every year, but I hadn't played it very much over the last couple years. 2 golds in a row. Another George Springer. Bob Guerin's a good catcher for bronze tournaments. One of my top 5. I think I've got him at number 2. I played baseball mogul a long time ago, and I enjoyed the like being able to select the pitches and stuff like that. Um, but I think for depth and for customization, this is just so much better. Front Page Sports was, man, that was my jam. Front Page Sports back in the late 90s and early 2000s. I loved that game. They had the football game too. The football game was a lot of fun. Getting to design your own plays. Yeah, Sierra blew it up. I like Sierra too. And then they blew up the Front Page Sports because they had the Police Quest games back then too. Sierra did. As I once again show my age. We got 7 packs left to get something good. Jeremy Walker, you're not the bronze I want. Bobby Bonilla's getting paid by the Mets till like 2036. What an awesome contract that was for him. Oh, there's Ian Happ. We were just talking about him earlier. He does not look as happy in his picture as Mike Fierce does. We got a diamond Gary Sheffield, 92 rated third base. Got some good historical diamonds tonight. Just did not get the bronze cards I'm looking for. How weird is that to have to say? Last two packs. So the damage is 144 packs. No Gerald Williams. No anybody else I wanted. No Brent Suter. No Vic Aldridge. No 2008 Zach Greinke. No Maury Rath. No Kaz Matsui. No Ozzie Smith. We got a bunch of diamonds. We got a Rendon, Gary Sheffield. Let's move some of these guys to the other page so I can pull the other diamonds up. Got some really good diamonds. I'm happy with the pulls. Only display inactive cards. Where'd they all go? See, so we pulled a Rendon at a 96. We pulled a... I swear there was more than that. There's Sheffield. Really good power on that Sheffield card. Not good defense, kind of what I expected. Oswald will be pitching for us in this next game. And otherwise, we got a bunch of George Springers. I don't think I got any of the pitchers that I wanted. Jordan, Steve Cook's a good pitcher down there in the bronze tournaments, but otherwise, not much to speak of there. All right, so Rendon's at 74, 79, 69. Good defense at third base. Right now we're running Matt Chapman and Evan Longoria out there. I think we're going to go ahead and see if Rendon. Let's compare him to Longoria. See what we want to do there. Third base. There you are. So a little bit better hitting ratings for Rendon. He's going to be the backup one way or the other. I think he might be better than Chapman offensively, but Chapman's enough better than him defensively that I think Rendon would probably be the backup. So I think we're just going to sit with dang, Sheffield's going for 20,000 points. I can't even fit him in the lineup because he's not a better bat for me than Bottomley is, and he's not better defensively than anybody. I think I'm going to try to get that 20,000 points for Sheffield. We'll see if I can get more. we'll call it 25,000. Rendon's gonna stay on the bench for now. I'm gonna see because Chapman's playing well this year. Although Rendon's, you know what? I'm gonna make the move. I'm going with Anthony Rendon, guys. I don't know if it's the right call, but I'm gonna be honest. The team is currently 19-4, so it'll take a while for it to catch up with them. Awesome. Welcome, Faraday Sports. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. We're just about finishing up with the stream tonight, but we'll be back on Wednesday. I'll be doing some more bronze tournament player ratings for you. And then once Wednesday and Thursday are over, you can hit my Discord up. You can see it there at the bottom with my schedule. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be doing some random game I haven't determined yet. And then Wednesday and Thursday will be the bronze position players and then the bronze pitchers. I'm taking Friday off this week because I will be playing the Final Fantasy VII Remake on Friday all day and probably all weekend or until my wife decides that she's had enough, which probably won't take that long if we're being honest. But I appreciate you giving me the follow. And I hope you'll drop by tomorrow or one of the next few days. I think we're going to call that a night. An hour and 46 minutes, 140 packs. We got some good diamonds. We got a Gary Sheffield. I'm going to report a bug because Gary Sheffield just showed up back on my team after I downloaded the new data, and he's still showing up in my auction house as well. So I don't think that that's okay, and I am not going to put him on the auction house because I feel like that would be cheating. Nap LaJoy continues to be fucking awesome. Like, seriously, this guy's nuts. I am really glad that nobody paid $700,000 for him because I think I'm just going to ride him all the way up until this team doesn't move up anymore. For now, I'm pretty happy with what the team looks like for stone level. It's maybe a little bit overpowered for stone level, but we'll see how it goes. Oswalt got lit up a little bit in his first appearance. 6 innings pitched, lit up 4 runs. And everybody else is looking pretty good. Gallegos through 5 appearances now, not good. We are going to replace him, I think. Giovanni Gallegos has got to go, guys. 2.12 whip out of my relief pitcher. That's not good. 5 walks per 9 innings. I think maybe this historical Chris Sale for some long relief. Let's do it. Oh man, so much long relief here. Never mind. We'll go middle relief with Chris Sale for now and see how he enjoys that. All right, guys, that's going to be the end of the night. We'll hopefully come back on Wednesday with some packs, but I'll be here tomorrow, probably around, we're going to call it 7 Central Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. It's going to be either Diablo 3 or my first attempt at whatever this Warzone thing is, which will probably be pretty embarrassing, so you should check it out. And then Wednesday and Thursday, again, we'll be back with bronze tournament players. So I appreciate you guys dropping by. I hope you guys have a good rest of the night. Stay safe out there and stay happy and enjoy your night. Have a great one.